I gotta flip the screen away because I keep looking at it. Whoops, sorry. What's up, brother? Today we have a topic that is quite deep. Have you ever thought about the fact that nothing you pursue is quite fulfilling? For gym, for an example, just not quite big as you want to be, but like you can be like sort of satisfied, but you're still kind of chasing. Or just that bench is just not quite as heavy as you want it to be, or you're not making as much strength progress as you want to. Your squat isn't getting as heavy as fast as you want it to, or anything like that. Or you're earning money, but you just want to earn that extra bit to just have that extra bit of financial freedom, and it just keeps happening like a snowstorm. Well, I would tell you that all these things have one thing in common, and they are physical things. So you might be thinking, okay, well, Kathan, tell me, what is the one thing that is fulfilling? Well, let me tell you, there is not one thing that you could physically find that is fulfilling. And I say physically because I mean physically, because there is one spiritual thing that if you do find, then it is the most fulfilling thing. And like one sip of water, but you never need to sort of drink again. You know, you drink once and you are nourished for the rest of life. And I'm gonna tell you that this spiritual finding is Jesus. I just had last night actually, someone come up to me, prophesying over me, telling me that I need to share the word. And so that combined with just feeling it in my heart, I need to spread the word, because this platform has the opportunity to make a good difference. I can't even very well describe it, excuse me, because I'm not like a pastor or anything, so excuse me if I say one or two words that are not quite fully scripted, but I'm gonna have to wait for this child to stop screaming. Everything physical on this earth is, no matter how close you get to being like satisfied with where you are, there's always that like, okay, I need to get like something a little bit higher, something a little bit more, I need to make more progress. But once you make that progress or get to that place you want to get, you get that same mindset. The mindset stays the same. It's not that the gap gets closer and closer. That gap from where you want to be and where you are just kind of, it literally just stays the same, no matter how far up or how far down. It literally just stays the same. So you'll never quite get where you want to be, because that gap doesn't actually fill. And so I'm gonna tell you that putting your faith in Jesus and basically looking towards him for everything is like actually closing that gap. I'm sort of just kind of winging this as I say it, by the way. I haven't, nothing scripted. This is just sort of flowing out my heart as I make it up on the spot. So I hope it's impacting you. But basically, everything physical is like trying to fill a cup when there's a small hole at the bottom. Like it just kind of, it'll stay, when there's a hole in the middle of the cup, it'll stay like half full, then it'll just kind of overflow out because there's a hole there. But when you put Jesus into your life, that is what blocks that hole, so you can fulfill your potential. And that's in a way that we all spiritual human beings, right? We have a spiritual side of us that is completely empty when we don't put our faith in God and don't put our faith in Jesus. And basically putting your faith in Jesus is filling that extra bit of like emptiness that you have, which is your spiritual side. Because we can all try and be fulfilled by all these earthly things, but none of these earthly things are physical. And until we put our faith in something that is spiritual and connect to something that's spiritual, we're not going to be spiritually satisfied. But we're going to feel that kind of sense of thirst, but we don't connect it to spiritual. So we just try and find some physical satisfaction, which ends up either just not doing anything or making the problem even worse. We're making you feel even more thirsty, which makes you chase even more physical pleasure, which obviously goes down a spiral, and that gets all nonsense. So without dragging on this too long, because I don't want to make this video too long, I just want to tell you that following Jesus is fulfilling. It is very fulfilling. And I say that with experience, because I've gone through times when I wasn't following Jesus so much, and times now where I feel like and times now when I feel strongest in my faith. And I'm gonna tell you that the most fulfilling I've ever felt is around now, when I feel like I'm striving to be as close to Jesus as possible, and him telling me to make these kinds of videos. I feel actually quite good making these videos, because any other videos I'll try making on sort of bodybuilding tutorials, I just can't speak. But now, as soon as I speak about Jesus, it just sort of flows. He speaks through me in a way, and I can't describe it to someone who hasn't really had the experience before. It's just kind of like it's amazing. So I just I've just basically come here today to tell you that fulfillment is in knowing Christ. It is not in chasing anything physical. So the title of this video sounded nicher than it actually is. It's kind of for everyone, not just gym bros, but I figured a lot of gym bros these days, they just sort of chase a physique. I know this sounds very controversial, because it's not actually as bad as the outside world looks at it from. We're not all obsessed with our bodies, but there is that side of it that we're all just chasing a good physique. And let me tell you that won't ever fulfill you. And the one thing that will fulfill you is knowing Jesus.